Night Force number 3, written by Marv Wolfman, art by Tom Mandrake. This issue, I gotta be honest, I don't really remember what happened last issue. I know that they were left in a graveyard at the end, so there's that. But this issue does pretty good on just recapping everything that's happened over the past 2 issues on the first page and framing it in the way of Jim saying that he will help Zoe and do it whatever way she wants. So we open up with a flashback to Chicago in 1932 and how someone is narrating that there is a woman who is working in a speakeasy who has the same crescent birthmark on her neck, and this guy is just waiting for her to get off because he is going to basically follow her into her house and kidnap her, and he is known as a gatherer. So we cut back to present day, and Jim is giving a tour of his childhood / current home to Zoe and just describing how his dad was an FBI agent and he would sit at his desk and figure out all these things, and he was always so in awe of what his father did that he tried joining the FBI as well, but he didn't pass the test and he became a cop. But the one thing that he did find was the link between all these different women who were kidnapped that were pregnant, and the women themselves were gone. They never showed back up again, but occasionally the babies, once they were born, showed up halfway across the world in some other place, and the only way that they knew that they were the same was that they had a crescent birthmark as well on their neck. And we get a glimpse of 1852 Dakota, where a woman is sheltered up during a blizzard with her husband, and this man busts in and grabs the woman, sees the birthmark, and comes to gather them. And then the husband tries to fight back, but the gatherer uses some weird magical energy to basically drain him of his life force. And some neighbors manage to see the very end of this as he's magically teleporting the wife and the baby away, and make sure to talk to the husband, and the husband says like he had to see her birthmark. I don't know why. Please avenge my baby, and dies. So then about 7 months later, baby shows up in Barcelona, and clearly it must be the same child as the other people. So at one point they take a trip to Spain where the father looks into that specific crescent birthmark, and he does all of his researching on his own time because the FBI really doesn't care. But then Zoe stops Jim from explaining this whole story. He's like, look, yeah, no, I get it. I understand all this. But, like, what are we going to do about it? And what does this birthmark even mean? So that's it for the Jim and Zoe stuff. Now we move over to this senator that we have been talking about for several issues now. And I don't think they ever actually say his name. If they do, I'll let you know. It's Senator Green. So there's that. Anyway, he's there with his, I believe, pregnant wife, who he's trying to find out from the doctors what's causing these migraines that he's having constantly. And on the news, there's a politician running for governor of whatever state, and it's apparently Georgia, and he's running on an extreme left-wing policy. I bring it up because I don't know if it's going to be important, but they're just like, well, it's a good thing we're not running against him. Doctor comes back and says, look, we can't figure out any reason why you aren't, like, why you're having these migraines, so here's a mild sedative, hopefully it can help. And they go back into the car, and the Senator Green goes about his day. Meanwhile, his wife, there's this red room of, like, strange looking G-men that are all making decisions about his blood pressure and whatever like that. And his wife actually walks into this red room and is just like, all right, well, I'm pregnant. I'm ready for the next perfect specimen of Generation 10. Meanwhile, the senator he's going to be put into this position. Like, he'll be reelected, and then we'll also have all these other people that we're keeping tabs on in their own respective positions of power. So then we will be finally ready to do whatever it is they're doing. Meanwhile, Senator starts having another migraine. He goes into his office to get an Advil, but as soon as he opens up his door, he opens up the door to the Wintersgate estate, and Baron Winters is there, and he's like, "Hello, I've been waiting for you, Senator." And before he can even really get anything out, the Senator is magically teleported or disintegrates via the green energy, and the Baron's like, "How do they keep getting into my house? How do they? God damn it! I'm supposed to be able to keep these people here. Like, nobody should be able to deal with this. Maybe I don't understand my full place in this yet. Regardless, I have to do something about this." So he calls up, I think his last name is also Green, but it's spelled differently, and he calls up the woman that originally got Zoe out of the hospital and was like, "Hey, look, I've got one last task for you, and then yes, you're free from my hold." So this woman goes and talks to this hospitalized man named Professor Kane, and basically she's just there to deliver a message, and the message is that the harvesters and the gatherers are there. But before she can even get it out, Kane is like, no, I know you're here from Baron Winters. That guy ruined my life. I lost an arm and a leg, and I have serious cancer because of the stuff he put me through. Like, whatever he wants, he can go F himself. I'm done with this." And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I really am. I just have to tell you the thing that I said I had to say." And she says that the gatherers or harvesters are there. And as soon as she says that, he's like, "All right, fine." And he starts getting just immediately teleported into the Winter's Gate estate. So then we cut back to this weird, like, temple thing where all of these masked women in, like, blue headdresses or purple headdresses have this weird green little baby. And they say, "He's ready for gestation." And then they take off their masks. They spew this black, like, spiderweb fluid thing over it, encasing it entirely. And then they just stick it up on the ceiling and say it'll be ready to hatch in like 6 months. And that's that. That's where we leave off. I genuinely don't know what to make of that. It's very strange. So, I don't know. This one, I'm getting it more as the time is going on. And I get the gist it's going for of this bigger mystery of, like, who are these people? What does this mean? Why is this happening? And I understand that, but it hasn't given me enough to latch onto that I'm able to remember the pieces of the mystery from issue to issue. So I probably, before I go into next issue, I'm going to have to, like, reread the first 3 just because I'm really lost on, like, did we know who this senator was? And what did Zoe and Jim actually agree to? And what's going on with the Winter's Gate estate? Maybe it'll make more sense now that I'm 3 issues in. But honestly, I get the mystery they're going for. I just haven't been given enough to care about it. Art, however, very good. Don't have a problem with that. So all in all, I give this one like a 6.5. And that's really just because I need something more to latch onto. And it also feels like there was a whole story told before this that I don't know whether or not I should be aware of going into this. It's confusing and not in a good way. So 6.5, hopefully you can turn it around. It's got a few more issues to do so I guess we'll see.